So good morning again one more time, and let's start with the question that I asked you about it last time. Before I even start with it, for the student that they keep forgetting, what do I mean by the distance? If you're looking at this picture that's in front of you, what does it represent? You're all familiar with this picture because you always see it. Where do you see it? Yeah, Maya. This picture in front of you, where do you see it? Maya, I'm trying to unmute you. Okay, Maya. Let's hear Jad then.
This picture, we see it in the cars.
In the car. What is
in the
the
vehicles.
Unit? What is the unit that is written here?
Kilometer per hour.
Kilometer per hour. So this is your hint. If you forget about the rule, kilometer per hour, this line here represents division.
Like distance over time.
Exactly, distance over time. So this line represents the division. So this is el kilometer, it's a unit for a distance. So it will be the distance. And the hour, it's a unit for time. So it will be what? The time. So this is a way to remember the rule. Another way to remember the rule is the triangle that you use to take it in the science. This is triangle, that the speed equals distance over time. And if you want to move further, here the speed equal, this line represents division, distance over the time. If you want to know what's the distance is the speed times the time. If you want to find the time is the distance over the speed. So these are some of the rules that you can use them using this triangle, as simply as that. Now, how can we solve, knowing these information, the average speed? Teacher, it is not working. Oh, thank you, Maya, but your answer is correct. It's distance over time. Now, the average speed is the same, but instead of saying only one distance, we're going to take all of the distance that is here. And instead of saying one time, we're going to take the total time. So the average speed is the total distance over the total time. So Mu'taz, can you solve it now? Can you give me the total distance? It's written in the question, right?
Right.
What is it?
80 miles.
So the total distance is 80 miles. So it is 80. Over what? What's the total time?
Okay. 4 hours and a half.
4 hours and a half. So I'm going to write 4.5. And for the ones that they don't know, this is 1 hour. Actually, 3 hours, miss. 2 hours, 3 hours, 10, 20, and that's 30. So this is 3 hours and a half. Now, how do I divide 80 divided by 3.5? We didn't take it, by the way, in grade 6. We only took how do we divide by whole number. So this is just a hint for you. I'm going to continue from here. If I want to divide 80 divided by 3.5, I can't have a decimal when I'm dividing. So the first thing I need to do it is to change this number to be a whole number. How can I do that? By multiplying both of them by 10. Why do you think I choose the 10? First of all, if I multiply the numerator and the denominator by 10, will I change the value, ya Malak? Yes, Malak. Will I change the value? I'm trying to unmute you, Malak. But it's not working. Okay, Omar Zaidan, will I change the value if I multiply by 10?
No.
Excellent, because these are equivalent fraction. So this will be what? 800 over 35. Now you can do long division normally and you can get the answer. Or you can use a calculator to get the answer, but this is how we work it out. Is it clear for all of you? If you have a question, please write it on the chat. It's much more faster. Omar, no, the time is 3 hours and a half. Dima, no for what, Dima? Can you write why? Why did you say no? Or you mean the time is not 4.5, it's 3.5. Can you divide it by 210? Now 210, 3 hours is actually 180. Yes, you can divide by 210, Yamis. But you need to remember that the units, what you're going to write, you're going to say mile per minute. So all of you look here how I'm going to write the units. I'm going to erase everything that I wrote it. The ones that they choose to divide by 210, their unit will be mile, MI, per minutes. So here you're going to write minutes. The one that they choose to divide by 3.5, they're going to say mile per hour, MI per hour. So it depends on which unit you used, you write your units. If you use the minute, you're going to write minute. If you use the hour, you're going to write hours. Is it clear? If not, write on the chat. It's much more faster. Yara and Muhammad, I meant, no, it doesn't change. Yeah, thank you, Yadima. Yara and Muhammad, last time we said that what is the distance? Is it time over distance or is it distance over time? Do you remember this question? And we said that it's a homework for you to give me what is the rule. So now we're just discussing this. Now they all agree that the speed, if we're looking here, equal distance over time. So now I want to figure out what's the average speed. We said that the average speed is the total distance over the total time. Till now, is it clear? Yara and Muhammad and Masa, till now, is it clear? Now, we want, which part is not clear, Ya Masa? So raise your hand so I can hear you. Where is Masa? Yes, Ya Masa, which part is not clear for you?
Teacher, like why do we have to divide in this part?
Because we said that the speed is distance over time. Over means division.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yes.
I'm going to divide the distance over the time. But right now, I'm not just going to take one distance or one time. I will take the total. Yeah, Ryan, you can round. Now the total distance, it's written in the question, it's 80. Now my question is, what's the total time? Some of you, they said that the total time, it's 1 hour. Here is 1. Here is 2. Here is 3. And we're counting by 10. 10, 20, 30, that's half an hour. So the time is 3 hours and a half, 3.5 an hour. Now Malak and Ryan and the other student, they said, no, I want to write it in minutes. It's totally fine. So they said it's 210 minutes. Both of them are correct. But Malak and Ryan and the rest, if they want to use the minutes, they should use this unit. Mile per minute. If you want to use the hour, you're going to use what? Mile per hour. That's it. I think we're clear now. Now I'm going to go back to the converting between units, which is lesson 18.1, just to revise it quickly as much as we can. Now let's go back from the beginning. Let me erase everything. Oh no, sorry. So let's start from here. Now, we used to talk about converting units, and we have three shapes or three dimensions that we can talk about. Sometimes we only have one dimension, and this is mathematically, we're talking about a perimeter of a shape. If we're talking about two dimension, mathematically, we're talking about an area. If we're talking about a 3D shape, in math, we care about figuring out the volume for it. Or sometimes the surface area. But the surface area, we're going back for the area, so it's two dimension. So the most important part in one dimension is the perimeter, in two dimension, the area, in three dimension, the volume. So what are the units that we use them for all of these? For the perimeter, you're just going to have kilometer, meter, centimeter. For the area, we're going to have what? Kilometer squared, like this, meter squared, centimeter squared, millimeter squared. For the volume, we said what? Kilometer cubed, meter cubed, centimeter cubed. Now, why did we call them these names? Why did we say square and why did we say cube? Because of this. Because the best shape to calculate the area with it or to estimate the area is the square. So when I want to find an area for an object, I actually counting the little square that are inside the shape. This is the best shape to figure out the area. And if you do remember, I tried to use different shape, a circle, a rectangle, a parallelogram, a triangle, but the best one between all of them was what? The square. Now, for the volume, why did we say it's a cube? Because the best one also, it's what? To count how many cube do I have. Till now, before I continue, do you have any question? Please write on the chat. If you have till now anything. Okay, so now we all agree that the volume with a cube unit, the area with a square unit, and the one dimension with one unit. Now, if I want to actually convert or before converting, how do I actually pick the most suitable units? No, you don't need to memorize, Layan. You just need to know that when Layan, when I say a cubic unit, right away, what will occur to your mind? That you're calculating what? A volume, an area, or a perimeter? When I say cube unit, write either V or A or a P for me. Yes, Layan, I'm waiting. When I say cube unit, what will occur to your mind? No, you don't need to memorize the unit, but when I say the word cube unit, whatever the unit, you just need to think about the volume. When I say a square unit, whatever the unit is, by the way, Layan and the rest, these are not the only units. I can have yard squared, I can have mile squared, I can have foot squared, okay? But when I say squared, you're going to think about what? The area. When I say cube, you're going to think about what? Volume. This is a mind map for you, just to make things easier later on. Whenever I say meter, kilometer, you're going to think about what? Perimeter. Is it much more clear now? Why did I mention the units? Yes. So Jad is telling 3 dimension, volume, V. 2 dimension, area. 1 dimension, perimeter. Excellent. Thank you, Layan. Now let's move to the next part. How can I pick the most suitable unit? Because the square units actually represent an area. So I'm actually looking at a 2-dimension figure. That's why we say square unit. But the 1 unit, I'm only looking at the length, ya Adnan. I'm not looking at the whole shape. So when I say 1 unit, I'm only looking at this line. What is the length of it? So you're going to tell me meter. You're going to tell me centimeter. But if I'm covering all of this, let's assume it's a wall and you want to paint it. So you want to look at the whole wall, so you're going to say square unit. So I'm not looking only about this length alone or the width alone. I'm looking with them together in the same time. So that's why I said square unit, okay? Now let's move to the next slide. What is the best unit now, if you're looking at this envelope, to describe it? Will you describe it using meter, kilometer, first of all, with one dimension, or will you describe it using two dimension? Let me hear someone. Yes, yeah, Dima. First of all, just tell me, Dima, where are you, Dima? Okay, زين. في ناس عم بينزلوا ايديهم بس ما تنزلوا. Yes, يا ندى.
Yes.
Yes. Will you use two dimension or one dimension here? For the whole envelope, not the length of it. All of it.
One.
One, I'm not looking at this line only. And I'm not.
Then two dimension.
So what's the best unit in the two dimension? Is it milli or is it centimeter squared or is it meter squared? What do you think the best?
Centimeter squared.
Excellent job. So what about these posts? The small one here. Will it be suitable to use centimeter squared or something smaller?
Millimeter.
Excellent job, millimeter squared. Thank you very much. Now, Maruf, if we're looking at this one here, ya Maruf. Not this envelope, this screen, ya Maruf. What is the best unit to describe the area of the screen?
In meters.
In meter what?
Meter squared.
Excellent job, in meter squared. If I want to say the room, all of the room,
Yes.
will you describe it using the square or the cube unit?
Cube.
Excellent, because it's what?
It's a cube.
It's a cube, it's a 3 dimensions. So the best one is to use meter cubed for the whole room, but for the screen, centimeter cubed. Meter cubed. Thank you very much, ya Maruf. Now let's move to the next one. Okay. This one here, the football pitch. Yes, ya Adnan. What's the best unit to describe the area of the football pitch here?
Kilometer.
It's
A few, يعني 1 or 2. لا, meter.
Meter, yes, excellent, meter squared. But if we're talking about the distance between two cities,
Kilometer.
kilometer. If we're talking about an area of a city,
Kilometer.
kilometer squared. Okay, thank you very much, ya Adnan. So this is how we choose the best unit. Now, how do we actually, before I continue, let me see the chat. Miss, you're all going to answer as much as I can. But I have a few questions and I have how many students here? 61. Here we said that. Now, how do we actually convert? We do have these stairs in front of me for the 1 unit, and we have the stairs for the 2 units, the square unit. Now, if I'm going down, you're always going to do what? Multiplying. If you're going up, you're always going to do what? Dividing. The numbers, they change according to the unit. So from kilometer to meter, 1,000. From meter to centimeter, here it's 1,000. From meter to centimeter, it's what? 100. From centimeter to millimeter, it's what? 10. Now, what about if I'm converting kilometers squared? Do I have to memorize it? You don't. what you're going to do is the following. Just find the connection. Here there used to be 3 zeros. Here they are what? Double. Because here I double it. Here there used to be 2 zeros. Here I also double them. How many zeros? 4. Here we used to have 1. Double the 1 is what? 2. Okay? So you don't need to memorize the second table. If you know the first one, which you're familiar with it, the second one you can take it from the first one. Till now, any question? I know that you're answering in the chat, Yajad. Now, how do I actually convert 5 meter into centimeter? Let's hear Noor. Yes, yeah, Noor, what will you do?
Hi.
Hi, yeah, answer it for me.
The first example,
First example, yes.
500 centimeter.
How did you know? Explain.
Because from meter to centimeter, it's 100. And we're going
Excellent.
down, so we
So-
multiply.
Excellent job.
After we divide.
Excellent job. So this is times 100. It will give you 500. So the answer here is 500. Now let's hear someone else if we have a decimal. Thank you, Yanur. Let's hear Jude. Where is Jude? Jude. Okay, Malak. Yes, yeah, Malak. The second one, yeah, Malak. Meter to millimeter.
You multiply by 1,000
Excellent. Why did you choose 1,000?
because you also count the centimeters.
Excellent. So I have here 2 zeros with another 1 0. There will be how many zeros?
1,000.
1,000. But what when I have a decimal, what will I do with the decimal?
You move it to the front. It will be 3,020 and 200.
Excellent job. You're going to move it forward 3 places. 1, 2, 3. So this is 3,200. Excellent job. Now I'm going to pick someone else. Other than Malak, let's hear Mira. Where Mira, yes.
Hi.
Mira, hi. I want you to do the last one, this one. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, what will you do?
We're gonna
From kilometer squared to millimeter squared. All of this. How many zeros you actually have? Let's start counting the zeros. I picked the longest one, I know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
5,
6,
7,
7,
8, 9.
9, 10, 11, 12. So 11 zeros, 12 zeros. 1, 2, 3. It will take me too much time to write them. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. They look like a 6, not like a 0, but it doesn't matter. So how many places you're going to move the decimal?
12 zeros.
12 zeros. So 1, 2,
2,
and then I will going to put how many zeros after the 7?
9.
9, excellent, but I'm not going to write them now. Let's move to the next slide. This one here. Who can answer it? Let's move down. Yes, yeah, Jana and Rand. Where are you, يا Jana and Rand? طب Zena. Yes, yeah, Zena. Now Zena.
Yes, teacher.
Yes. Now let's do this one. 80 centimeters squared into meters squared. From centimeter, you're going up into meter. What you're going to do?
Divide by 1,000.
By 10,000 actually.
10,000.
Excellent. Why did you choose to divide, ya Zena?
Because we're going up.
Excellent job. Now, if I'm going up and I don't have enough zeros to cancel them, what will you do? Shouldn't you put a decimal?
Yes.
So we're going to put the decimal where? At the end of the
80.
right here. And now I start moving it. How many places?
4.
4 places. Forward or backward?
Backward.
Backward. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So the decimal will be right here, and I'm going to put extra zeros. Thank you very much, Yadima. Now, let's have another question, and it will be our last question because the lesson, one last question, and we're going to end the lesson. Yes, yeah. Rayan. Rayan, this is our last question. Rayan, I want you to do the last one, this one. 4,000 millimeters squared into centimeters squared. What you're going to do?
Into centimeters squared divided by 100.
Divide by 100. Now, do you have enough zero to cancel them?
Yes.
Yes, so let's start canceling. One from
40,
here, one from
40 centimeter.
Excellent job. So the answer is 40 centimeters squared. Thank you very much for participating, and thank you very much for listening. This is the end of our lesson for today. You don't have anything to solve it in the booklet for this lesson. And have a nice day. Goodbye, everyone. You can leave now. I'm going to end the meeting now.